All right, let's try this again. My internet connection is a little wonky, and yeah, so let's do this again. Now I think we're good. So welcome to day 9 of the Sexy Life Academy, and we're almost done with this whole challenge. We only have one more day after today. Crazy. 9 days going strong. Amazing. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for trying the challenges, or even just checking it out, letting it, kind of simmer in your brain a little bit. Hopefully get the wheels turning. So we've done a whole gamut of challenges, from silly stuff, getting out of your comfort zone, adding more laughter and fun, diving into a good book, and today we're going to go a little deeper. Today's challenge is I challenge you to ask yourself honestly who you think you are. Who do you think you are? And what I mean by that is, where do you put your identity? How do you identify yourself? Do you identify yourself by your wins, or do you identify yourself by your losses? And now, I'm not suggesting that we deny our weaknesses, because we all have weaknesses. It's inevitable. We're human, right? Like, we're not going to get away from it. We can improve, we can grow, we can learn, but it's impossible to completely escape our weaknesses. And what I'm suggesting is that it is possible to acknowledge our weaknesses, but identify with our strengths. So, like I wrote in the note, it's possible to acknowledge our weaknesses without identifying with them. Now, think about it this way. A lot of you have kids, right? So, none of us, or at least I hope not, or maybe this will be an aha moment for you right now, but we wouldn't dare identify our kids with their behavior, right? They make mistakes, they might make poor choices, but they are not defined by their behavior. So why do we put that kind of pressure on ourselves? When we fail at something, I mean, get real for a second here. How often, when you don't do something the way you wanted, or as excellent as you wanted, or maybe you completely just fell on your face and failed, how do you talk to yourself? Do you identify with that failure? Do you think, I am a failure, not I failed, but I am a winner? Or, I mean, that's a little bit cheesy maybe, but hey, you know what? I choose to identify with my power and say, I am powerful, I am creative, I am patient, I am kind. And, all those affirmations that are really meaningful to me. The affirmations that are meaningful to me may not be the same ones that are meaningful to you, but what I want to kind of stir up in your mind today is who do you think you are? And the reason is because that influences the way you show up in the world. Now, so basically the key takeaway is, again, it is possible to acknowledge our weaknesses without identifying with them. When we believe something is part of our identity, like I am this, I am that, I am good at this, I am bad at that, that goes deep. It's much deeper than just the words that we're saying, or like, oh, I'm such a crummy, whatever, mom or wife. Like, why can't I just get it right? It does so much damage, so much more damage than what we realize on the surface. So separating behavior from identity is key. You wouldn't tell your kid you're a bad kid for, spilling your milk on the counter. Or even say you're clumsy. No, I have to watch myself. I have to watch myself and say that, and not say, why are you so clumsy? No, it's, okay, why did this happen? Let's be as objective as possible, and how can we avoid that from happening again? Maybe, the bowl was too close to the edge, and the toddlers reached it, and it just, went crazy. So it's just catching ourselves and how we talk to ourselves, because that will inevitably come out in how we talk to our kids, and how we talk to our spouses, and how we talk to our friends, our coworkers, everybody in our sphere of influence. And this is why, well, I'll get back to this at the end, but in the Sexy Life Academy, this is one of the first things we dive into is your self-concept and where you put your identity, because that literally is the foundation of how you show up in your world. Now, this recent example about as far as separating behavior from identity goes. So a few weeks ago, I had my first ever actual panic attack, and I talked more about it in detail in a podcast episode. I'll actually go back and edit this and add the link to that episode, because it was such a breakthrough day for me. And if you really want to hear the story, you can click on the link that I'm going to post. But basically, in the middle of that day where I had my little personal crisis, Alexi was having a not so great day. She had a day with a lot of guilt. And she was telling me, like, I feel so guilty. And I said, why? What's that about? And she said, well, I forgot, to play with my friend at recess. I promised her that I would play with her, and then I forgot to, I didn't listen to my teacher this morning very well, and then I forgot to, give back to my friend this thing I borrowed, and then while I was in the bathroom unclogging a poopy toilet, she forgot that she was supposed to be watching the toddlers, and they ended up outside. They were walked outside trying to get in. So I just lost it. I lost it. And I don't really yell at my kids often these days. It's been a while. And that was an ugly moment. And there's nothing, it's so painful to watch your kids look at you like, who are you right now? Some monster just took over my mommy's body, and I don't know who's showing up right now. I don't like that. And then the me inside is wondering, what is happening? Where did you go? Who just took over? So anyway, and then she was feeling guilty about that, which, seriously, she should feel guilty about that. But I told her, you know what, babe? Guilt is useful. Guilt has a purpose. Guilt is not supposed to feel good. It's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable so that hopefully you'll be motivated to not do that thing again. Because what you've been doing today is not in alignment with who you really are. And whenever your actions don't match who you really are at your core, like the goodness in you, and this is what I told her. I said, it just doesn't feel good, does it? And then I felt the need to clarify. So I asked her, you know what, do you feel like you're a bad person for forgetting those things or for making those choices or having those behaviors? Or do you just realize that it's something not ideal that you did? So basically, what I wanted to do was find out, does she feel like she's a bad kid, or did she feel like she made a bad choice, a poor choice? And she said, I asked her, do you feel guilt or do you feel shame? And she said, what is shame? And I told her my favorite, most simple definition, which Brene Brown, if any of you guys follow Brene Brown, she is fantastic. I love the woman. She is so honest and bold and courageous. I just love her. She says that guilt is I made a mistake, and shame is I am a mistake. And Alexi said, oh my gosh, that's how I feel. I feel like I am a mistake. And you guys, that is so heartbreaking. That is so heartbreaking as a mom to hear your kids say that. And I really needed to hear my own message. And literally, I have conversations with myself sometimes where I'm like, okay, listen, where are you at today? Do you need a good cry right now? And yeah, I think I do. Like, where is this really coming from? What is the stem? Are you disappointed? What were your expectations? Well, I have these conversations, and I feel like a crazy person, but I don't care. I embrace that crazy. So anyway, I really needed to hear my own message that day with Alexi, and just talking her through that. Guilt is useful. Shame is never, ever, ever, ever productive. It's always crushing. So, and the thing is that, so I want to challenge you too in how you identify with certain characteristics and qualities, because we all have this human need, this essential need to connect and belong and be loved, at the very least to find some people with whom we can associate and feel understood and feel like we understand them. And this is where identity gets tricky, because how often do we identify with the things that we're trying to get away from? For example, anyone who's ever struggled with an addiction. Even if it's just talking to yourself, do you think I am an addict, or do you think I am an overcomer? Because if you believe at your core that you are an overcomer, then your actions you're gonna want to align your actions with that identity, as opposed to, well, I'm an addict who's trying to get away from this or not feel this way. It's stop identifying with the things that are bringing you down. Acknowledge it, remove the temptation, whatever you need to do, to align with your new identity of being an overcomer or a winner, or not a failure, or a powerful, effective, creative human being. It's just it gets so deep, and more than I can do in this one video, more than I can do justice here, but that's the challenge today. Evaluate honestly, who do you think you are? And that'll be a good first step, just the awareness of where do you see yourself. And then I wanted to invite moms. Sorry guys, sorry everybody else, but this group that I want to invite you to is specifically for moms who are raising a family while growing a business. So if that describes you, I would love to invite you to check out more about the Sexy Life Academy, because the enrollment is opening this week and we are tackling all the really juicy, meaty stuff. It is not a fitness program. It's not a health program. We have that stuff also on the Sexy Mama Movement page. Lots of resources for you there. But this program for moms who are raising a family while growing a business, it's unique for you. We're talking about emotional mastery, stress management, energy and time management, communication and connection. We go in there. We go deep. Identity, self-concept. When you come out of this program, you will kick butt. So you can really succeed at home and in your business. So if that sounds like something that you would like to do, click on the link that I've already posted in this description. And like I said, I'm going to go back and add a second link that's going to be to the specific podcast episode where I talked about the panic attack that I had a few weeks ago. And I shared it the day after it happened. So it was still really fresh on my mind. You might hear the emotion coming through my voice. Anyway, so that's the challenge for today. Who do you think you are? And tomorrow is the last day of the Sexy Life Challenge. I'm so excited to share with you some more stuff tomorrow. So have a great Sunday, and I will see you tomorrow.